right? They were playing it in more of a roamer style. Well, you bring one of the operators that is literally built to deal with roamers, yet you never really use the scan or never given the opportunity to do so. So we'll see if those changes actually materialize in this second map, as we'll see Lion and Glaz be the two bans. So Capitao will be available. Same thing for Habana and the Thermite. If we see Laundry first, I'm very much expecting a Capitao, Thatcher, Habana lineup, which works out pretty darn well. Mira's going to get banned as well. Not surprising at all, and last should be somewhere between Echo and the Maestro. Sometimes we'll see the Valkyrie being removed. Very rarely we'll see an operator like Smoke, for example, and there you go. The Echo will be taken out of play, but it does leave Clash available. And Clash has not been used yet. But she's an operator that can very much throw a wrench in any of the attacking strategies.
I do appreciate that over all of these matches, we've seen a lot of similarities in defender bans. Mira, Maestro, and Echo, by far and away, leading the pack on ban rate so far today. I like that HypeR is going to ban Lion. They realized Lion was a big part of every single attack from Vicious. He was run every round by Pixel. It's not a surprise to see them turn around and deal with that. And then Glaz, of course, being able to pin down the defenders. Both these operators have a very profound impact on Oregon as a whole. In fact, it was Lion who almost completely upheaved the way that Oregon was played last season in a number of different leagues and settings. So it doesn't surprise me to see that change happen. And it's good on HypeR to be able to take that and learn from it as it goes along. It just shows that they're paying attention to this matchup as much as they need to be. And it's also going to allow Vicious, these 5 rounds on attack, to be completely Lionless. And I mean, Vicious already struggled on a number of attacks for a variety of reasons, and Lion really did help them. It definitely helped that all-in style of play that they were able to use on a couple of their executes, specifically the 2 rounds that they won. That's not going to be there for them. So that's going to need to be a change on Vicious's side of things. And it might actually be beneficial to Vicious, because it means that they now have that one role freed up to possibly bring a Buck, to possibly bring a Thatcher, a Twitch, maybe something outside of that. And as you can see, yeah, they're going to bring the Jackal again for Oasis. They're going to drop the Hibana, but look at the utility that's on the board for them. A Capitao and a Buck right off the bat. That's something that could have gone a long way with them on their clubhouse play.
Yeah, and something discovered very recently as this morning. There's a couple spots that if you're attacking Bedroom, Capitao would be extremely powerful on. And even in Ashe, if you have her hold a long angle at the end. And one day, maybe at some point, I'll talk about it. But right now, we'll keep it a bit of a secret before we, show it off. At some point, it's the latest of discoveries. But now he's just going to walk in. They have a player in Armory here for the defense, so you have to deal with the Maestro. It's actually playing here on the outside. No, the Ella here. And that's extra. They'll get shot down. Speaking of the Maestro, it's Pixel that'll get shot down and a very quick refrag. At least HypeR lose out the Ella, but at what cost? They traded against the Echo, the Capitao, excuse me. And that's a pretty darn good trade here for the defense of HypeR.
And there's control of this upstairs Armory side of things in hand for Vicious. It's a good start. They did lose Pixel as the Capitao, and now Rich is just going to get fed into the machine of Maestro, as that deployable shield is going to prove its worth. That's 2 very valuable picks that have come from the Maestro of Strage, just anchoring down that doorway inside of Dorms. A really strategic spot for him to be at, and that's going to put the pinch on Vicious here. Though, they will discover that K2, the Legion, is playing not too far by of Oasis downstairs in the lobby as they try to commit their forces to this joint push. A couple bodies up top of Vicious as they've been able to open up that generator wall and now take out the deployable shield, which will mean that Strage is going to have to play a bit more defensive inside of Dorms, but that actually works out quite well with the timing, because it's 1 minute and 10 seconds and you don't want to be losing Strage to that over-aggression when you know that he's going to be able to hold a heavy angle with the ACOG of that LMG and stop anybody in their tracks.
Well, in the meantime, Oasis trying to find an angle himself, just going all the way up top. Not peeking in through the main hallway, but he's unable to find the Maestro just yet. He notices a play on the back, trying to time the frag grenade, and it's thrown in the back will do a bit of damage, but not enough to make... Oh my god, Strange finding the fire. That's the second one, and LoJack's going down. He turns around at 180s for one more, but it's Nikki to get the last on Vicious here. Oasis from Vicious. Yeah, he's going to be crying his heart out at the end of that one. Reference game 1 point.
Strange 4K doing most of the damage as well in that final encounter, though he wasn't able to get credited with the kill. What an incredible round. And I mean, that's exactly the way that Kids Dorms usually plays out. If you have somebody anchoring in dorms, especially with an ACOG, you're able to play those engagements. Now, previously, you'd usually have it be an MP5, which isn't the same potent machine that you see in the hands of somebody as the Alda. The Alda is, as of right now that the SMG-12 has seen itself nerfed, the Alda might be one of the best weapons on defense. Yep. It has an incredible amount of fire rate. It does a lot of damage. It's got an ACOG. It doesn't have a lot of recoil. It's got the tightening of the hip fire, and it's got a huge magazine. All of those things going in favor of it, equipped with great gadgets, mean that Maestro can single-handedly save you rounds. On Clubhouse, a lot of times it's going to be his gadgets in places where he can then take the long-range fights without exposing himself. On Oregon, he's going to play a little bit more defensively and conservatively here, relying on those evil eyes. But Strange put in all the work that was needed there, and there was zero answer from Vicious to be able to take care of him.
And the big question was, why was there nobody holding off from the windows? I mean, you still need the crossfire, and I was mentioning one of those spots. Now, there is a spot that is right next to tower by the shed, where if you can get your look correctly on the side of the wall, you can vault all the way up to the top of the shed. It's a bit complicated, but you can do it. And you can have the Capitao holding off from the outside there. Very, very difficult to spot him and actually take him out, especially if you don't have an ACOG. But also, it gives him a clear line of sight to lob his bolts all the way at the door. It is a perfect position that you can use to your advantage. But regardless, nobody peeking from that edge. Kind of, make things very easy for the defenders that only have to watch one angle through the hallway. Yeah, you kind of pretty much give them the advantage, so HypeR able to capitalize on it. Meantime, Vicious are bringing the Blackbeard plus the Jackal and the Capitao again. Interesting that they're bringing the Thermite as their hard breach for this round. HypeR do have both Ela and Vigil to play with.
And I know that Oasis likes this Jackal, but once again, I gotta be confused at the Jackal pick on Oregon as well. There's better smoke operators they can use. Once again, you can put a Dokkaebi in there. There are teams that will run shields here that have it available to them. You've got the Capitao as well with the smokes that are available, and that's what Vicious is going to be focusing on with Pixel. But, I mean, Pixel was opening death on that last round, so Jackal not really proving his worth, and there he goes. Once again, you're putting a very heavy utility-based operator as your entry. That's not exactly the smartest play for them to do, and now they're going to lose the Jackal as well. So all sets of smokes completely gone as this roaming force of HypeR is just too potent right now. It is a sign of desperation, though, for Vicious that Holiday Nog is on the Blackbeard. That's an operator he knows and loves, and he can frag when put in that position quite reliably. How well does it work on Oregon, though? That's the better question.
Yeah, the question is, clearing out tower, was that the initial phase of going for a construction push? As you're not really too sure with the way that things have changed with those two picks to deal with Vicious. So HypeR looking pretty. I'll force Nog down the stairs. But he's got a lot of work here to do. So I'll have to walk on in. Already sprays and gets a ton of damage actually done onto K2, who's down on the floor and will get shot down by Nog. So that's the first one, but it's extra to find the top angle. Take him out. Vicious, another one in their advantage, but it's Nikki to refrag, leaving it all to the Blackbeard, half on health, and that's diffuser down. The Ash was holding the diffuser, and she was fairly far away from the Blackbeard. The focus was not on the site, unfortunately. And now it's all to Blackbeard to go up. But he finds the first one extra down on the floor. But there's two still to deal with. Doesn't have diffuser. So Nog will have to play just for kills. And we all know the shotgun is perfect to deal with him. There you go. Habibi with the dispatch. The M59 in hand just blasts him back to the spawner.
Very close to losing himself there after you saw 2 impact frags from Nog and then 1 impactless as that diffuser was down. But once again, you had LoJack's up top just by Meeting Hall, looking into Attic. the Jaeger is situated at a rotate. You can see that the rotate hole is in there, and there's no drone work done.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a simple matter of the fact they didn't have drone? Was it a simple matter of the fact they didn't drone? That's 2 entries now that we've seen from Vicious, and they've been caught off guard by it every single time. And that really speaks to me that something is going awry in terms of their coordination. They don't have it within them right now to be able to feed that information to one another and get those calls. Even Nog's kills that came out, those 3 kills right there. I mean, the Ella might have been a flank drone, but the other 2 were just purely him aiming down the corridor in the basement and getting the kills that he was needed. And that was it. So they've lucked into a couple kills because HypeR did tend to throw bodies at the one remaining attacker because I think they knew that at that point they had it, but the diffuser was down upstairs. All the smoke needed to do was wait. Nog read it correctly. He decided to go frag hunting because I think he realized there'd be somebody playing on it, and if he was able to get that, he would then have to provoke a fight with the Jaeger. But, I mean, you have to go for the diffuser at some point. Blackbeard is not a fast operator.
No.
I mean, overall, that round really, more than anything, I think, was done the moment that Pixel and Oasis went down. The moment they lost their Capitao and their Jackal, the moment that they lost all their smokes, they lost great tracking ability, they lost the ability to cut down rotates in Laundry Supply Room, which is so pivotal with the Capitao when used correctly on Laundry and Supply Room. I think that was really the fatal blow here. So, we now have a third site coming in, and it's going to be Tower, and this will be an exciting thing to watch given the pace that seems to be set by the opening kills between these 2 teams.
Yeah, we'll see how HypeR play this one out, because this side is much more complicated to play, and you're having the Evil Eye should give them... I wonder what the angles are that you get from it. I don't know if you can watch one of the windows through it. You can watch the lower window, okay. So it can set you up for a final peek, and there you go. That's Zofia and the Capitao down, as Nock will have to turn around and take down the Maestro. It's a big loss here, but the Zofia and the Capitao, that's cash money here from Strage.
That was I believe the kids call that a Poggers play, as I'm sure there are people in the chat who are likely explaining that.
Yeah,
so.
not around the age of 54, as both of us are.
But yeah, 2 huge kills. And I mean, yes, you lose the utility of the Evil Eye cams, but you take out the Zofia as well as the Capitao, and Pixel just having a rough day, to say the least. Nog on Repel, we'll see the door underneath him blow open. That's something that he'll have to be conscious of, and whether or not he's going to have somebody there. He's got the shield in his face, and he just destroys Nikki. And this is what I said. You put Nog as a comfort pick on that Blackbeard, and oh no, Habibi doesn't see it. The one railing in his way will not be able to capture the Blackbeard, and Nog will have to change out shields. So a lot of work to be done from Vicious, but they do find themselves equalizing. That's good. They still have the Ying available, and every Candela is on the board. Nog taking a lot of damage, but oh, what a shot! He's going to gun everybody down in the process before K2 has to use a C4. But man, what a flick from Nog.
Yeah, that was pretty tough to watch, I have to say. It's a fantastic 180 here to get the kill, and somehow we turn this into 2v2, and there's still Candelas. Those are very tough to deal with. As at least they'll force the mute back. Can they catch the Ying off guard? No, they'll do a decent chunk of damage here to K2, as no damage will be done to either the Thermite or the Ying in this position. So T3 is not being held, and this is what HypeR are afraid of, as Vicious are moving in bit by bit into the site. They'll have to deal with the LF extra, and he's spotted and shot down. So Oasis taking no damage here. The Fuser should get planted, as K2 will get one. Does he know where Lojax is? They go in for the 1v1. K2 rotating back, as no, Lojax will find the headshot through the wall. And the round that started off so well for HypeR somehow is brought back. And you know what, Nog? Yeah, that's a Christmas miracle right there.
Nog on that Blackbeard is just frightening. And that's one of the things is that he can frag very, very well on that operator when you put him on it. And I think they're going to just continue to do this and work the utility around him. The thing for Vicious is that they close that gap on that round just simply through fragging potential, not through utility at all, because they've been very utility low after they've lost the first two deaths, or after they've lost their first two members to opening deaths. And that's really what's come out here. So we'll see if anything will change. Pixel is very committed to making this Capitao work, though we haven't really seen what's capable or what he's capable of with that operator. So we'll see what they can bring out in total as we sit in the 6-pick phase. Keep in mind that Ying does not have smokes anymore, so it's going to be rich on the Montaigne with smokes available, but there goes Oasis. On to Zofia. So lots of disruption that's going to be available at hand here, and I think that's a wise choice. The site will be dorms. We've gone back to the main rotation now as it's been 3 rounds, so dorms will unlock for HypeR. Smokes are pretty standard here. You can cut off the push from kids' dorms to the top of White Stairs. You can cut off Generator. You can cut off the doorway from Master over on the Armory side of things. You can cut off the big window as well. Lots of chances for you to use smokes adequately here as long as you burn out the ADS, and that will be present. As you can see, that's what Nicky's going to be running, and he's been running that Jaeger a lot. Zofia is one of the best operators, let's be honest.
Yes.
At burning.
At everything, really. But
she's in a very powerful position, but those concussive mines, you can use those, and then you don't need to worry about the ADSs. And on top of that, Capitao's arrows don't get caught by the ADSs either. So there's a lot of ways for Vicious to be able to perform and execute. The problem is that they have never really gotten to that stage.
Yeah.
Because they've been cut off at the knees by HypeR.
Yeah. Unfortunate here. But Vicious being able to take that round into their hands definitely put things in their advantage. Morale-wise, they got to be feeling pretty darn good here and very comfortable with their own skills and playstyle. Now what they need to do is, of course, bring the Thermite upstairs into the bedroom, get into the closet, open things up to go into Generator. It's usually what you're going to be doing here to deal with the defense. As bringing the Monty definitely makes things easier to clear out anyone in Armory. The Ella that's been a bit of a thorn in their back, that high rate of fire Scorpion, can get shut down fairly easily from the side, and there you go. Using the Zofia to their advantage. It's Habibi that'll go down. K2 with a refrag onto Rich. He can't get the last as Oasis gets one, but he trades against Nicky. And he still is alive. And Extra is as well, so they haven't been able to deal with him just sitting on the floor. Strage has taken a lot of damage on the Maestro as he moves into small dorms by Generator. And Nicky should get spotted here by the drone. No,
I'm almost certain that must have saw him.
I hope so.
Almost certain. And here's the other thing, too, is there you go. Yeah, he was spotted out. Great job from Nog. I don't know if they know that they've downed Extra. They must know, but he's going to be able to feed all this information to Strage. Extra's time is almost up. And that wick is still burning. Strage now, realizing that there's going to be a push inside of Closet. There's a C4 down, or there's a Claymore down, rather, and he'll see that. He'll take it out. There's a drone in front of him, too, and he'll push up, I think, knowing that there's an act of desperation here. But he will expose his back to that doorway, which is exactly where Pixel is situated. If Pixel, or Lojax, rather, if Lojax is able to get off drones here, he could possibly catch the Maestro. Strage watching the one window to jump in, which is where Pixel is located. It does look like Strage just got spotted on drone. And he'll hop right in, but no, he's not spotted. There's one on big window. It's going to be the Blackbeard, and very low HP for Strage.
He's got to deal with the Blackbeard, and Nog yet again. Navy SEAL operator too much to deal with, as the face shield protects him quite well. And of course, the Maestro there being low on health. There's not really much that you can do there at the end. He was caught in the crossfire. Unfortunately, you can't drone as the defense in that case. So that ends up in a tie. So Vicious with a very efficient way of attacking, realizing how important Armory is for the defense. They bring in the Monty. They try to deal with the Ella, down her, but then there's the peak, and they end up losing the 1v1 fights, even though they should have had the advantage, especially having the Zofia in Garage. But it ends up working well for them. Yet again, close round, but we'll see the second one being put on the board by Vicious. HypeR with one more round until the end of this half, playing on the defense, and they're going to go down to Laundry Supply Room yet again. The big question is, will Vicious go for a standard play from the main lobby, or will they try to drop in from construction using the tower as well? there's obviously a couple ways that you can try to get things done. And having the Maestro, yeah, that's a tough operator to deal with on Laundry, as there was a point where, like, yeah, with Lion it's impossible to play it, especially with Mira being banned. And now you're like, oh, but I have Maestro. I can see through your trickery and your smokes.
Strage has been able to frag out quite well alongside having the utility available. I mean, he did trade his life on tower very early.
An 80-round box magazine kind of helps out considerably.
Oh, absolutely. And it's very clear now that the strategy that Vicious is employing is Operation Blackbeard, as Nog is just killing everything that falls inside of his path. And I mean, it's not even so much that Nog is capable of doing quite well on what has always been his best operator, but more than that, it's that you've got great gunners on HypeR side of things. K2 and Extra have been no slouches in being able to roam effectively. Strage has been making his mark on both sides of the field as well in terms of utility usage, gadget usage, and then killing potential. That's not really it. It's that Blackbeard makes you have to play a much more conservative style. And he has single-handedly shut down the brazenness that we saw from HypeR, because they can't be peeking everybody at every time, because, well, if you peek a Blackbeard, you find yourself in bad straits. I say this about not being able to peek all the time, and while they do just that, and HypeR will be rewarded with kill number 1, Rich, the Ash, who tries to entry, will do so unsuccessfully. And now it's Extra, with the Gizmot mines getting thrown out. He's got a Blackbeard staring right down at him, and Pixel as well. This is certain death for Extra unless some heroics can happen. And I think he realizes that it's time to get out of there. Strage will get a kill onto Oasis, though, and there you go. 2 bodies lined up for Extra. There's flank potential now in Small Tower if they decide to move over in that direction. And, well, they're going to double up. Both Nog and Pixel will be there. Nog's face shield taking some damage, and Pixel, some of his life will be taken away. But other than that, they managed to clear out Extra quite well. It takes about a minute to do so.
Yeah, but they lose the Ash and the Zofia in the meantime. And remember, this is a Laundry attack. So clearing out the top floor is taking way too much time from Vicious. And, you know, HypeR exchanging the Ella for 2 operators on the opposite end, especially someone like Zofia, who's great at burning the ADSs before the Capitao does his damage with the bolts. Yeah, it's not a great start for Vicious on the attack. But we've seen them bring it back, and K2 is right above his opponents. So there's one hole, and of course with the Gizmot mine having been popped here by the movement of the Blackbeard, it'll give information for K2, who repositions himself in the classroom, and knowing that his opponents will try to come in and shut down the side here and open up the hatch. Unfortunately, go down to Nog. A lot of damage done to the Thermite, but not enough to finish him off. It's a 3v3. And just now, Vicious are starting their work on opening up the hatch, but Nog yet again face-checking with the shield. Makes things work. Only the last 2 anchors alive here for HypeR. They do have the smokes to play with.
Very difficult for them to be able to deal with that Blackbeard. He walked down the stairs, and K2 saw his legs for a split second, but got distracted by the Thermite of Lojax. The good thing is that there's plant denial in spades right now, as everybody appears to just be running in place, and here we go. Smoke's going down, asphyxiating bolts. This will freeze everyone. Habibi is going to be very, very important, as so will Strage. He's very low on HP, but he'll walk right into the fire. Habibi will need to do tons of work. Habibi with 2! He's going to put us in a 1v1, but he will miss it, and Nog single-handedly turning the tide of this game. 12 frags. He is unstoppable. And that will be Vicious taking 3 in a row. They have been indomitable since picking up that Blackbeard swap. But there's no Blackbeard available for you on defense, which is where Vicious is going to be now.
Yeah, and that's a good thing. Let's be honest. But we'll see how they now face against HypeR on the attack. HypeR don't seem to be looking to bring in a Blackbeard. At least possible 6th pick. The Doc being run out, and he's going to get locked in. All right. I think both teams are going to be comfortable with this. It's Kizdorms and the Hall. So the Doc for holding off in the hallway. You also have the Maestro just in case. And they're going to 6-pick the Vigil last second. Okay, so maybe a tower side Vigil or bathroom side. So it's definitely a good operator to have. We'll see if they can even use those impacts to their advantage. There's quite a few places in late round situations that the Vigil can save your team if he is still alive, or maybe just use him in around tower and even downstairs in the basement to blindside your opponents. HypeR should have a pretty darn good lineup here. They only have the one hard breacher, but they have everything to deal with utility that's been set in and around the map. And we're reminding people of the olden days of Pro League Season 1 and afterwards of House, where you would come in and, oh, they're playing Thatcher. They have an EMP. I'm just going to throw it on the roof, and suddenly everything is dead. I have just single-handedly dealt with all of the utility by just chucking an EMP on the roof.
I mean, those are the olden days, right? And I mean, House is, when you think about it,
it's a great competitive map.
When you think about the times that House made sense in competitive play, we are far past.
Did it ever?
I mean,
the big highlight was still ends back then Sisu's run out on, well, failed run out basically. It's a hilarious thing. I highly urge you to rewatch that from all the way back when. But you know, I guess here the comparisons kind of stop after the whole, oh, I can chuck the EMP on the roof.
Well, that was really something there.
Yeah.
As he was traveling through time and space, they're breaking the space-time continuum, so to speak. But
the space-time evil geniuses.
Oh, yes, of course. Over on the tower side of things, control right now for HypeR. They managed to push back every single one of the defenders and sequestered them over on the dorm side of things. K2 inside a meeting hall is going to get the one lone player playing off site. That was the Vigil. He gets pinned down, and you can say so long. Now, Nicky doesn't realize that Armory is totally clear, and he's got some free sailing up there. He'll pull out the grenade launcher to possibly try and take the Evil Eye. There might be an ADS in his way, but it does sound like mission accomplished as it will connect. There's an ADS that's going to be playing on that white stairs next to the Maestro of Oasis, and that's as good a spot as any, as he is going to be impervious at least to two separate explosives that might get tossed his way. And there was Strage, the Hibana. That is a very good target for HypeR to get out, as that's the lone hard breacher. There's only a minute left for HypeR to be able to pull this one off, and Vicious Gaming with the lead. It's a good spot to be in. Looking the wrong way is Habibi. Lojax gets a very easy kill, and, well, this gets even more difficult for HypeR as they're going to lose the numbers advantage.
Yeah, oh no, the Maestro was on the camera the instant the Ash was going for the barbed wire, and at least here Vicious will get one. Nicky with the refrag though to make it a 3v2. There's still C4 available here, but the Zofia just comes in and misses the early shots as Nog is able to turn around and land it. The SMG-11, K2 rushing in, he'll drop one, he fought almost running for the second, but it's Nog somehow still alive with a shotgun in hand. Sliver of health is all he needed to quick scope that Ash and take us back. Here's Vicious. They're looking much better than how we saw them on map 1, and it seems like, well, Blackbeard or no Blackbeard, Nog's able to get those kills.
And that's 4 consecutive rounds that have been on the board for Vicious now, as it definitely feels like the tides are turning, and we're only a possible couple rounds away from seeing border here between these two teams. And I think the prediction was correct that this would be much closer than we saw of the Elephant Gang, members-only match that we saw earlier.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, HypeR has definitely stepped up their game. This looks like a much better team than competed against Rogue a couple weeks back as well. You know, Rogue made very quick work of them, and I don't think broke anywhere near as much of a sweat as Vicious has to so far. So good on HypeR to be able to regroup and come back in and play a much tighter style of game. So could we see this be the penultimate round? Could we have match point next up and then border shortly thereafter? Well, going downstairs is going to be Vicious Gaming rather, who've been playing a vicious set of games so far, at least over the last 4 rounds. And yeah, Holiday Nog was a big contributor, and he was able to kickstart that offense, I think, more than anything, which is now carried over onto defense.
Yeah, so far he's kickstarting my heart. I mean, this is definitely a player that has shined throughout this entire matchup. We'll get to see if we go for a third map if they cannot clean up this second one. As of course, right now he's sitting pretty darn high up on that scoreboard with 15 frags in the past 6 rounds. It's an impressive set of numbers right there. But you have 2 ACOGs that are available for Vicious, so of course they're bringing the Doc, they're bringing the Maestro. They have the Smoke as well, and the ADSs of the Jaeger, very standard, but also the Mute. But that's where extra comes in. You have the EMPs, you clear those out pretty darn easily. There's not much that can stop you here on the HypeR side. It's just that there's ACOGs, so you got to be careful of how you peek those long angles, as they can always come back to bite you. But having the Zofia definitely does help.
Upstairs Sledge just absolutely wrecking house for the time being. And, well, there's something that was just overlooked for a second there. The reinforced wall and the hatch, that's perfect for a Thermite, which HypeR doesn't have. So they have a Hibana, and that's the thing. This is a great strategy from Vicious against a Hibana. Now, not that they could have known that there wouldn't be a Thermite on the board necessarily, but this is going to be very difficult here, as you're not going to have the same opening. And in fact, the wall, as now there's 2 Mute Jammers being down to try to give as much coverage as possible, but cannot do it. They will lose the hatch and both Mute Jammers at the same time. That's a good play from HypeR overall, though they would have been in a better position if they did have a Thermite available to try and accomplish that.
Yeah, and you can also chuck your drone farther in than the Mute Jammer range, so it gets disrupted for the duration of launch, but once it hits the ground, you can use it back again. And okay, one Ash Shard is going to get burned in, as the Zofia has not used her utility just yet, but not the end of the world. There is a bulletproof camera in the back, and it's bulletproof. You can't shoot it, man.
There is range for you to hit around the side of it, but it's very difficult to do, which is what I think they were going off of. Now, because there's still a 5v5, you're anticipating that there's likely going to be 1 member of the defense that's playing off of site. It's not usual that you'll have 4 here. Strage possibly going for the plant, trying to bait out a C4. The C4 will miss, but he's going to inhale so much of that toxic babe, and he's going to get down in the process. He will mistime it, and Nog credited with that kill, as Pixel now jumps in too. Habibi taking damage from that smoke, and Vicious in excellent position to just ride this out over the next 35 seconds. Rich, who's playing still a roam game, well, he wasn't able to do much as he lost Nicky's attention, and there goes Lowjacks to Nicky. So Rich healing himself back up, as it's the 3 anchors of Vicious still left alive. Habibi very close to HP. Oasis will tear right through Nicky, and Diffuse will need to go down. That'll be K2 going for the plan. Smoke going down, excellent timing, trying to get good coverage, but he'll have to escape the coat of yellow gas hanging over top of him. Oh no, Rich with the big kill, and Nog will get another, and Nog has just been so good in this matchup, absolutely commandeering every round, whether he's on attack or defense, and that is 5 rounds in a row for Vicious. Match point.
Aye, aye, Captain. All hands on deck definitely here for Vicious Gaming, as we'll see if the Sharks will bite here from HypeR. So far, they've been pretty toothless, right? So they're going to have to bring it. I mean, this is Watchtower. This is your time to shine if you're HypeR. They bring in the Maverick, but I don't know how big of a help that'll be when pushing into towers. There's not really much reinforcement in the way. So, 6th pick so far, pretty clear, and the Jackal again. I mean, I know we criticized the Jackal pick, and that was on the Vicious side, but it could work out. However, this time it'll be a quick switch over to the Capitao instead of the Jackal. So it can burn through the ADSs fairly easily, because obviously the crossbow bolts are not affected by ADSs at all. So taking control of T3 should theoretically be a lot easier for HypeR. You're looking to have that advantage, and if you can get it done, then you already have a huge bit of line of sight to just hold down. The staircase is going to be the only way that you can realistically be contested, if we're not mentioning the rotation through the attic. So there's not much that you can do against the attacking side if they have control of T3. At least the Mute Jammers here will make it a lot more complicated to get information as you're walking into the site. but you still need to take control of the bottom floor if you're coming in on the attack, just in case.
I'm actually very curious to see how they use this Maverick, because I don't see a lot of opportunities here. I think that this was a pick possibly anticipating that they would go towards Kitchen and not necessarily Tower. On a Kitchen side of things, Maverick is pretty influential. He can be able to open up that small tower wall. You can put pressure on inside a meeting hall if they decide to forego meeting hall control, which some teams do, puzzlingly, even though oftentimes you'll see 1 or 2 bodies possibly in meeting hall. I'm interested to see what they're going to make use of this Maverick here. Now, they could possibly run him down attic, which is, for the time being, reinforced on at least one side, and that's where K2 is right now. But no, they're going to actually use Strage's exothermic to blow it open. So, yeah, this Maverick is possibly going to continue to go all the way through attic. That would be my guess, but now it's Sledge taking points, so this could just be utility that doesn't necessarily need to be used here. Oasis eliminates K2, so the question about what will the Maverick do? Well, die early was the answer. Not really much of a use there at all, as he will fall.
Yeah, and Nog just sitting back and try to see if he can collect a kill or two here and there. The Sledge will peek, but he's not spotted by the smoke. Somehow, Nog just peeks up and gets him. How does that even connect? He was so tagged so low. And that's now 2 kills. The way of Vicious looking to take us to map 3 on border, as this game has definitely been, as we predicted, very, very close between both teams. Extra opening up the side of the stage. Not going to find anything in the rear stage. The Thermite just running away. The C4 almost taking him out. Sliver of health left on the Thermite. HypeR definitely down here as Nog has taken a decent chunk of damage. Unfortunately, this time they don't have the Doc to bring him back up, and oh, they'll find the angle with Rich as he falls back. And it's 1 down. Strage as low as hell, on health, as if I can find my English here. And Nikki just trying to burn his utility. Unfortunately, it's being burned by the ADSs, and Lojax is in a very good spot here in T3. Not going to be much to fight against them.
I think low as hell applies there as well. Absolutely. You know, it's next to no HP for Strage as he'll get as extra gets picked back up. Holiday Nog had hit 18 kills, and whether he'll be able to go for more of that. Well, there goes Pixel, the mute fall, and Nog will push right up and see Nikki, but there you go, Nog 19. Can he get to 20? You're going to see the Jaeger try to battle off all those asphyxiating bolts. Running out of time, HypeR in the middle of their death throws. Oasis with 1 plant going down, Strage so low. Nog, can you get it? Hit 20, my boy. He'll pop right back up, and, well, he's in pretty good control, but if they decide to pinch him through attic, that could be very difficult. Oh, he'll miss! Rich credited with the kill, and that will be it. 6 rounds in a row, Gasson. Vicious looking absolutely incredible, and 19 kills.
19-3.
What a performance.
Wow.
Absolutely incredible.
I'm surprised after how close map 1 was, but even here, it was fairly close between the 2 teams. The big thing was the fact that they kind of had the advantage on rounds and just kind of squandered it.
Yeah, that honestly, that felt like the moment that they threw Nog on the Blackbeard, the whole tempo of the game just completely changed.
Yeah.
And every misstep that Vicious had been committing, every single misstep that it seemed like that they were taking, it fixed itself. It fixed itself because they were able to find